We all know how cool Pizza Tower is. Currently, it's one of those trendy games that everyone has been talking about on the internet. It's really not hard to see why. Its art style is very weird and absurd, reminiscent of 90s cartoons, and because of that, it's also pretty memeable and recognizable as well. Its levels are expertly put together, and many transformations that Pepino can go through are very weird, wacky, and pretty creative. People have been calling this game Game of the Year despite the fact they released in January. That's how much people like this game. Pizza Tower was in development for 5 years, which is quite a lot, and during that time, it accumulated a small yet loyal fan base. And some of those fans liked the game so much to the point where they made their own fan games around it. And today, I'll be talking about one of those fan games, that being Sugary Spire. At first glance, Sugary Spire might just look like a reskin of Pizza Tower, but actually the main character has a completely different moveset and controls pretty differently compared to Peppino. Aside from that, the game has its own levels and very good soundtrack. The main character's name is Pizzelle. His movement is a combination of Peppino's movesets from different older builds of Pizza Tower. His jump feels a bit floatier in my opinion, maybe I'm just wrong about that. Also, I think he might also accelerate to max speeds slower than Peppino, but again, that could just be my mind playing tricks on me. But his dash travels in a straight line. You can jump out of that dash while on the ground to immediately start a mac run, and he can't infinitely wall climb or wall ride. His super jump can also break peppermint blocks, which are this game's versions of the steel blocks seen in Pizza Tower. Something you'll also notice is that while yes, its art style is still inspired by old cartoons, it's not inspired by those weird absurd cartoons from the 90s, rather it's more inspired by more cutesy looking older cartoons. Well, yes, the characters sometimes change shapes to exaggerate their feelings, it's not as extreme as in Pizza Tower. And this really goes well with the more cutesy sugar candy theme that Sugary Spire is going for. Pizza Tower feels like a cartoon for teenagers, while Sugary Spire feels like a cartoon for younger kids. I like that. It just feels like two different cartoons you would probably watch at different times on the same channel. Getting dropped into the tutorial, what's pretty cool about it already is that if you turn on the game and you accidentally end up falling into the tutorial, you can take this secret route over here to just skip the tutorial. Bruh. What? Oh. Wait. Does the tutorial have secrets as well? Oh. Oh. Okay, cool tutorial, I guess. If you're like me and you end up blinking at the wrong moment or looking away to look at what time it is at the wrong moment and you end up here, my pro gamer tip for you is to dash and then immediately jump. Now, as I already said, if you jump out of a dash, you immediately start a macro, which means that you will be able to climb walls. Just keep jumping so you keep your momentum while climbing on the walls. Now, if I softlocked myself because I'm an idiot and partially because I forgot I think this is something you can do in Pizza Tower, but I played so much of the Sage 2019 demo trying to get S rank on Snick's challenge that I completely forgot about it. I also like that the pillar and some other elements here are cardboard cutouts. I don't know why, I just feel like I should say that. Also, Pizzelle takes 2 hits to destroy these kinds of blocks, while Peppino takes 1 hit to destroy those kinds of blocks. I don't know why that just randomly fell onto my mind, but, well, I just said. Okay, going to the first level, that being Entryway. It's based around cookies, I guess, and construction sites, yeah. It's just a pretty basic level, although I feel like it's kinda interesting that you go to the left. Usually in platformers, when you enter a level, you immediately go to the right. It's been like that since Mario, but yeah, certainly interesting. The secrets in the toppings, I guess, are pretty easy to find since this is just the first level. It's meant to get you familiar with how the character controls. I did forget the final topping. I don't know why. I guess I was just really in a hurry that I forgot about completely. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Next up is Cotton Town, which is themed around cotton candy, and holy shit, the music of it slaps. I would say that I prefer this over most of the tracks in Pizza Tower. Not to say that Pizza Tower is always bad, it's just my personal preference. Also, while on the topic of OST, the OST in Sugary Spire doesn't go for the same retro MIDI feel that Pizza Tower often goes for, which is cool since it makes the whole game a bit more distinct from Pizza Tower. Here we are introduced to Sugary Spire's first transformation, that being Cotton Coated. It lets you double jump, gives you a simple attack. It really makes you feel like a kid that desperately needs to go to a dentist. What? What the fuck happened? And lets you stand on cotton platforms that you usually can't stand on. You can also attack downward to go through those cotton platforms or to just attack enemies. You can also slide and slightly speed up, but that's really it. If you take damage, you will lose it, and if you fall into water, you will also lose it. I like that this secret revolves around the cotton coated gimmick, and I like that the escape sequence also relies on it as well. It's pretty cool. One thing I would like to note about Cotton Town is I feel like getting S rank was maybe a bit too easy. I got it first try. I did not get S rank on literally any other level in Sugary Spire on my first try. What? Oh yes? Holy shit, nice. I don't know how to react. What's that fucking face he made? We've probably also noticed by now, from the footage in the background, is that the camera functions a bit differently. It doesn't immediately perfectly follow the player, rather it stays behind and then starts going after the player, which is kinda cool since it creates a kind of a sense of speed for the player. You've also probably noticed that during Sugar Rush, this game's escape sequence, the screen will tilt, just making everything a bit more intense and weird. You'll also notice that the backgrounds are more noticeable. I feel like they have more saturation to them. At first, I did find them a bit distracting, especially paired with the screen tilt and the weird camera movement, which, by the way, those two can be disabled in the options. It's pretty cool that they included that, in case someone finds it annoying, although I personally kinda got used to all of those things. The next level is Molasses Swamp, which is themed around... I actually got no fucking clue. Swamps. You'll notice this weird thing on the ground, which functions the same as the cheese, it don't make a sound in Pizza Tower. This stage's gimmicks are these things which shoot you up, and these guys frog things that grab you, which are pretty much the same as those dudes in Oh Shit in Pizza Tower that grab you and also throw you up. In my opinion, this is the worst level in the demo. It's not bad or anything, it's just, I don't know, there's really not that much memorable about it in my opinion. Sorry, I guess, if you like this level. Although, however, there's one thing, it took me quite some time to find the third secret. I don't know why. Thanks. Next up is Sugar Shack Mines, which is a pretty cool level. This one is themed around sugar. This level has you bringing donuts to these gnome miner looking dudes who blow themselves up in the process of trying to break these barriers, but don't worry guys, they're fine. I like the minecart gimmick. It's really not anything too complex or too interesting. I just like going fast, and I just like Pizel's face in both the TV screen and in game itself. Peak comedy right there. I also think that it's pretty cool that there's like this whole minecart section during the escape sequence where you're going really fast and dodging stuff really adds to the tension. I did think I soft-locked myself here because I'm a dumbass. In reality, I should have just dashed and jumped to start wall climbing. I don't know why I even fucking brought that up, I just did. One issue I have with this level, however, an actual issue, not just me being a dumbass, an actual issue, is I feel like it drags on for a bit too long, and many of the areas just kind of blended in together in my mind. And despite the fact how many times I've played through this level to record footage for this video, I still cannot fucking remember like half the level. Or I mean I can, but I keep mixing up the placements of certain things. I really never had a problem with this on literally any other level in both Sugary Spire and Pizza Tower and the Stage 2019 demo. You will have to go back to get those donuts for the gnome looking dudes, but what I really like about this level is that you don't have to backtrack all the way to get the donuts. Rather, there are shortcuts sprinkled throughout the whole level that you can easily find just by simply exploring a little bit. It's a pretty simple idea when you think about it, but when you think about it more, it's a pretty good one. So that was the first demo of Sugary Spire. Apparently the second one leaked, but I'm not gonna play that one until the devs decide to release it. But back to this demo. When it comes to the levels, I liked all of them. While Molasses Swamp wasn't really that memorable for me, it still wasn't a bad level. It was still well designed. What I really liked about Sugary Spire is how much it themes everything around candy, and it doesn't get tiresome because the visual designs of the levels themselves just look pretty cool and creative. I think that all the soundtracks are pretty great. Molasses Swamp is okay in my opinion, but still good. I personally prefer most of these themes over the level themes from Pizza Tower, just my opinion. Not to say the Pizza Tower soundtrack is bad, it's still pretty good, it's just that I personally prefer this game's soundtrack. However, Glucose Getaway could never beat its pizza time for me, that's for sure. Not to say that it's bad, just my personal preference. Also, the pose that Pizel does when you get an S rank is just so goofy and memeable, I really like it. What I also like is that it is implied that the Sugary Spire isn't exactly what it appears to be. It seems like there's some theme around eyes. Every time Pizel defeats an enemy, he like completely fucking loses it, and his eyes are completely dark with white dots for his pupils. When you're escaping, the TV might just show some random stuff, but sometimes it'll be like a pitch black eye just blinking. And whoever this is supposed to be, they look like they're very distressed. Aside from that, it seems like there are things in the walls. They just stare back at you. You're not really sure what they are. Sometimes they seem angry, sometimes you can't even tell what their emotions are, which kind of adds to just the mystery and overall weirdness and creepiness. I really like that. And then it hits you. You're inside of a building that's made out of candy. There's a bunch of candy inside, and it starts to seem more like a trap. I like this kind of subtle horror. I can't wait to see what they'll do with this. I mean, they really can't. It's too deep. Oh my! What the fuck was that? I like how more expressive the toppings are compared to Pizza Tower. They just, they freak out during pizza time. Here, the marshmallow catches on fire, and the chocolate grabs a helmet and a baseball bat while completely freaking out. I really like that. Pretty cool detail. The only thing I would like them to add is maybe like a manual like in the Sage 2019 demo where you can see some tips and tricks around how the character controls. What? Oh, I did! Yeah!